Here's a photograph, black and white, taken in 1965. It shows two men standing at the edge of a forest. Behind them, mountains rise like teeth against a pale sky. One of the men is smiling. The other is looking off to the side, toward the trees, as if he's heard something.
Their names are Robert Winter and James Callahan. They're prospectors, gold hunters, and in 3 days, they'll be dead. But here's what makes this photograph different from the thousands of others taken by men heading into the wilderness. It's the last image ever taken of them alive.
And when their bodies were found, weeks later, miles apart, in a valley that locals refused to enter after dark, both of them were missing their heads. This isn't folklore. This isn't legend. This is documented, recorded, filed in the archives of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And it's not the first time it's happened in this place. The valley has a name, Nahanni, but the people who live near it call it something else, the Valley of the Headless Men. And Mr. SandMan. And tonight, we're going into a place where the line between cryptid legend and documented tragedy becomes impossible to draw. Because sometimes, the most terrifying thing about a mystery isn't that we don't have answers. It's that the answers we do have don't make sense.
Let me tell you about Nahanni Valley. It's in the Northwest Territories of Canada. Remote, isolated. The kind of place where you can walk for days and never see another human being. The Nahanni River cuts through it, a river so violent, so unpredictable, that even experienced kayakers avoid it. Rapids that can flip a boat in seconds. Whirlpools that pull you under and don't let go. The Indigenous Den people have lived near this valley for thousands of years, and they have stories. Stories about a creature that lives in the mountains, tall, covered in dark fur, moving through the forest with a silence that feels wrong. They call it Nukluk, the Bushman. It's not a bear, it's not a man, it's something in between, and according to the stories, it doesn't like visitors. But here's the thing about stories, they're easy to dismiss, easy to file away as folklore, as superstition, until people start disappearing. Let me tell you about Nahanni Valley. It's in the Northwest Territories of Canada. Remote, isolated. The kind of place where you can walk for days and never see another human being. The Nahanni River cuts through it, a river so violent, so unpredictable, that even experienced kayakers avoid it. Rapids that can flip a boat in seconds. Whirlpools that pull you under and don't let go. The Indigenous Den people have lived near this valley for thousands of years, and they have stories. Stories about a creature that lives in the mountains, tall, covered in dark fur, moving through the forest with a silence that feels wrong. They call it Nukluk, the Bushman. It's not a bear, it's not a man, it's something in between, and according to the stories, it doesn't like visitors. But here's the thing about stories, they're easy to dismiss, easy to file away as folklore, as superstition, until people start disappearing.
The first documented case happens in 1908. Two brothers, Willie and Frank McLeod, head into Nahanni Valley looking for gold. They're experienced. They know the wilderness. They've done this before. They tell their family they'll be back in 6 months. They don't come back. A year passes, then 2, then 3. In 1911, a search party finally goes looking for them. What they find is a campsite, tents still standing, supplies still there, everything in order, except for 2 things. 2 skeletons, both missing their heads. The official report describes the scene in detail. The bones were found near the campsite, partially buried. No sign of a struggle, no blood, no weapon, just 2 bodies, decapitated, left in the dirt. The official cause of death, unknown. The unofficial explanation, whispered around campfires and in trading posts, the Nukluk. But the McLeod brothers weren't the only ones. Over the next 50 years, more people disappear in Nahanni Valley. In 1917, a prospector named Martin Jorgensen goes missing. His body is found months later. Cause of death, exposure. But his head, never found. In 1922, John O'Brien vanishes. His remains are discovered 2 years later, decapitated. In 1932, Phil Powers disappears. His body is found in 1933. Same story, no head. By the 1940s, the valley has a reputation. People avoid it. The few who do go in, prospectors, trappers, adventurers, often don't come back. And the ones who do, they tell stories. Stories about hearing footsteps in the forest when no one else is there. Stories about finding tracks, large, human-like, but not quite right. Stories about feeling watched. One trapper, interviewed in 1956, described it like this. You know when you're being hunted. You feel it in your gut, like something's following you, just out of sight, waiting. He never went back.
Which brings us back to 1965. Robert Winter and James Callahan. They've heard the stories, but they're also pragmatic. They're looking for gold, and the Nahanni Valley is rich with it. They pack carefully. They told their families exactly where they're going. On June 12th, they head into the valley.
For the first 2 weeks, everything seems fine. They send letters back, short updates, nothing unusual. Then, on June 28th, the letters stop. By mid-July, the search party is organized. What they find is long. The campsite is intact, tents still up, food still stored, equipment neatly arranged, but there's no sign of the men. And then, they find Robert Winter, or what's left of him. His body is lying face down in a creek bed. He's fully closed, no visible injuries, except one. His head is missing. 3 days later, they find James Callahan. He's 5 miles away, in the opposite direction. Same condition, no head. The official conclusion, deaths by misadventure, cause of decapitation, unknown. But here's what the report doesn't say. When they found Robert Winter's body, his boots were caked in mud. The kind of mud that only exists in one part of the valley, a swampy area about 10 miles from where he was found, which means he walked, or ran, or was carried. And when they examined James Callahan's body, they found something in his hand, a clump of dark hair, coarse, thick, not human.
So what happened? Was it murder, animal attack, or the nuke? The Dean people have been telling stories about this creature for centuries. It's described as tall, 7, maybe 8 feet. It's not aggressive, according to the stories, but it's territorial. And if you stay too long, it removes you. I'm not saying the Nukluk is real. I'm saying that the people who live near Nahanni Valley believe it's real, and that belief has shaped how they interact with the land. They don't go into certain areas. They don't talk about the disappearances. Because to talk about them is to invite attention, and attention in a place like Nahanni can be dangerous. Something is happening in that valley, something that has been happening for over a century. And whether it's a cryptid, a serial killer, or something else entirely, people are dying, and no one has an answer. The valley is still there, the river is still running, and people are still disappearing. Because sometimes the most dangerous thing in the world isn't a monster, it's a place where the rules don't apply. And once you cross that line, you might not come back.
I'm Mr. SandMan. This was Historical Curiosities. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and remember, not all mysteries have answers. Some mysteries have teeth. The forest is waiting.